Is adrenal fatigue a real diagnosis? This is the dirtiest question in alternative and endocrine medicine. And I know this because I have worked in adrenal disease care for the past 7 years. I am the founder of Adrenal Alternatives Foundation, which is now the American Adrenal Association. So I can tell you that I have worked with every form of cortisol deficiency, cortisol dysregulation internationally. And so this video is going to be about adrenal fatigue and basically breaking down what it is, what it's not, is it real? So adrenal fatigue is a diagnostic term that is not recognized by endocrinologists. The thought in endocrinology is that your adrenals either work or they don't, or they work too much. So if they work too much, you're diagnosed with a condition called Cushing's. And Cushing's can be caused by a myriad of different things, but the main cause is exposure to glucocorticoid medication like steroids, or pituitary tumor that causes your adrenals to overproduce. That is Cushing's disease. Cushing's disease is too much cortisol production. Addison's disease and adrenal insufficiency is cortisol deficiency, where your body does not produce enough cortisol to sustain life. These conditions are the only two adrenal conditions that are recognized as far as the gradient goes. Now, there are many other things, CAH, all that jazz, but we won't get into that. But adrenal fatigue is not recognized because, like I said, in endocrine medicine, it's either they work too much or they don't at all. And logically, that doesn't make sense. So with the term adrenal fatigue, that term is actually an inappropriate term that, like we said, has not been recognized. However, the term HPA axis dysfunction and cortisol dysregulation are diagnosed, recognized terms for when the adrenals do not produce the right cortisol at the appropriate times. Now, let me make the clarification. Cushing's disease, too much cortisol. Addison's and adrenal insufficiency, not enough or no cortisol. HPA axis dysfunction, cortisol dysregulation, is that the adrenals work. They just work at inappropriate times at inappropriate levels. So those definitions need to be understood right at the beginning. And the treatment for these are very, very different. So with Cushing's disease, that is a condition, again, where it's too much cortisol. And a lot of times the main treatment for that is an adrenalectomy. And it's where they go in and they take the adrenals out. It's a very difficult condition because you have one disease and then you turn around and end up with another, which is adrenal insufficiency, which is where you're then steroid dependent the rest of your life. So that is the main treatment for Cushing's. With Addison's and adrenal insufficiency, it's steroid replacement. Basically, you're stuck trying to replicate a body system and give yourself cortisol every day according to how your body would produce it. So that, again, very difficult diagnoses. But with HPA axis dysfunction and cortisol dysregulation, there are a lot more options. And again, this is a controversial topic I have honestly avoided because of my background, but now I feel like there needs to be more advocacy and awareness on what to do for this condition. Like I said, it is a diagnosed condition. HPA axis dysfunction can be researched on any PubMed, National Institutes of Health library. Just go in and type in HPA axis dysfunction. It's there and you'll find it. And with HPA axis dysfunction, it is more of a dysregulation. It's not this on and off, it works, it doesn't. It's a dysregulation. And what's interesting about HPA axis dysfunction is it's controlled a lot by lifestyle. And so how much you're sleeping, how much stress your body is experiencing, your pain levels, all these things are going to impact your body's stress response, which again is cortisol. And so what is done with HPA axis dysfunction, first line baseline treatment is evaluating lifestyle. And that is the first thing we do here at Hope Healing Happy Clinic, is we're evaluating your lifestyle. We're going to take an extensive protocol, an extensive, questionnaire about what are you doing in your life? What's stressing you out? How much are you sleeping? How much are you eating? How's your, relationships in life? Are you fulfilled? Are you happy? Are you doing things you enjoy? Are you going outside? Like, we're going to take a full protocol of your life. We're going to assess everything to see, okay, what's stressing this person out and what can we do to improve it? And then once we do that, we will give you a test kit that's going to test blood spot, which is where you prick your finger and put it on a piece of paper, saliva, and urine for your adrenal hormones. And what we do with that test kit is we're going to get a 24-hour view of what your stress response is doing. It's going to test your adrenal hormones, some neurotransmitters, those sorts of things, so we can figure out what your body is doing and why. And so it's very important to get those two pieces, because we can say, oh, look, she says she did this at this time, at this time, and this is what her adrenals are doing during that time. And so we can work with your lifestyle to try to regulate those stress responses. And so that's also super vital to get that key piece of information, because you can't fix something that you don't understand. And so once we get that, then we can move on. If those modalities do not improve everything completely, then we can move on to using some clinical herbalism in order to try to get those stress responses regulated. So again, it's very, very important to get a snapshot of what your adrenals are doing and be able to work with those things. And so I just want to give you the hope that if you've been told you have adrenal fatigue and then you've been told it's not a real diagnosis, it's just been mislabeled. So come check us out. We can help you. This video is brought to you by Hope Healing Happy Clinic's Winslow E. Dixon Adrenal Herbalist. It is not meant to replace medical care or provide advice. For more information, please visit our website, hopehealinghappy.com. Give us a call at 941-841-9903. We offer our services both remotely on Zoom and also at our clinic location in Fort Myers, Florida.